Biden ahead of Trump, polls more reliable than in 2016. 4 years ago, Donald Trump's surprise victory in the U.S. presidential election raised the question of the reliability of the polls more than ever. Should we believe them this year? What did the polls say? On D16 of the November 3rd election, Democrat Joe Biden is ahead of the Republican president by 9 points nationally, according to the polls averaged by RealClearPolitics. But a candidate can get to the White House by winning the majority of the state-level grand voters, without winning the popular vote nationally, like Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton in 2016. This year, 6 states are deemed likely to tip the victory: Florida, North Carolina, Arizona, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. Again, Joe Biden has the advantage, although he is sometimes within the margin of error, going from plus 1.4 points in Florida to plus 7.2 in Michigan. What mistakes in 2016? The polls had correctly captured Hillary Clinton's slight national lead the day before the vote. But they got it wrong in some of the pivotal Midwestern states that won Donald Trump, Chris Jackson of the Ipsos Institute told AFP. Among the causes, he cites an underrepresentation in the samples of white people without a college degree, who ultimately turned out to put a Trump ballot in the ballot box. What changed? Most institutes claim to have corrected their methodology to eliminate this blind spot. Key states that were poorly surveyed last time are also the subject of much more and repeated studies. In addition, pollsters point to great stability. Since the spring, Joe Biden has led with an average lead that has never fallen below 4 points. By comparison, a sawtooth Clinton-Trump curves had crossed twice, illustrating an uncertain race. Finally, in an extremely polarized country, there are far fewer indecisors who are likely to be a game changer at the last moment. Are there any shy Trump voters? The thesis emerged from timid Trumpist voters, who, questioned by pollsters, would rather be silent about their choice as their champion is so controversial. The polls were wrong the last time and they are even more wrong this time, insists Donald Trump. Trafalgar Group, a Republican-style polling institute that prides itself on a methodology supposed to circumvent this bias, was virtually the only one in 2016 to give Donald Trump a winner in Pennsylvania and Michigan. But this time, even this pollster gives Joe Biden the edge in crucial states like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. 4 years ago, the businessman new to politics was new, and the new is still hard for pollsters to grasp. Today, everyone has made their own opinion about him. There is no longer any surprise effect around Donald Trump, said Chris Jackson. What if, despite everything? The New York Times did the math. Even if the current state-to-state polls were as wrong as they were 4 years ago, Joe Biden would still win it over. Mr. Biden is closer than our average to winning Texas, a Republican stronghold, which would result in a tidal wave in his favor, than President Trump is to winning in more traditionally disputed states like Pennsylvania or Nevada, wrote Nate Cohn, the Daily Specialist, recently. Are there still uncertainties? Pollsters and analysts are always careful to remember that voting intentions are not a prediction, and then that there is a margin of error. Above all, the campaign is a dynamic. The last presidential election was probably played in the home stretch, depending on the news. At 16 days before the election, the 538 site forecast gave Hillary Clinton an 86% chance of winning, almost like Joe Biden today. And no election is like the last. In the United States, voter registration varies greatly, making it particularly difficult to predict turnout. Donald Trump invokes the enthusiastic crowds of his meetings to announce a momentum in his favor. But will this be reflected in the polls? The Democratic camp, little mobilized for Hillary Clinton, unpopular candidate who seemed to have won in advance, will he unite behind the more consensual Joe Biden to oust a hated president? Finally, one unknown remains: the impact of the pandemic. Advance and postal voting are at historic levels. We do not know what effect this will have, explains Chris Jackson, citing factors difficult to take into account by the polls.